Hey, my name is Vikky and today I'll be watching Attack on Titan Season 1, Episode 15. So we ended with Eren winning it was not him, but they decided to not execute him. He got what he wanted, so he will join the Survey Corps. And I'm really excited to see where this story will go now. Through all these episodes, we've said some things like their training, his Titan shifting ability. We met some characters, and I think that now some great foundations have been built to make a great new story arc, and I'm just excited to see into what situations will now everyone be put. Because as I said, there's nothing like this 14th episode was like a bridge between the previous storyline and now the next. I just want to see all the different stuff which will probably be introduced in this episode. So I'll just jump into it. Special Ops Squad. お前のような小便臭いガキにリヴァイ兵長がつきっきりになるな。おお。あの新兵ビビってやがったぜ。オルオがあんまり間抜けだからびっくりしたんだと思うよ。あの人たちが調査兵団特別作戦班、通称リヴァイ班。全くみっともない。ペトララル、巨人討伐数10体、討伐補佐数48体、エルドジン。 He knows everything. All this is interesting. 軍多手術、討伐7体、討伐補佐40体。俺が暴走した時はこの人たちに殺されることになる。中も埃だらけだろ。それは重大な問題だ。早急に取り掛かるぞ。So what exactly are you doing here? They'll stay here. お前の部屋は地下室だ。また地下室ですか。当然だ。お前は自分自身を掌握できてない。これはお前の身柄を手にする際提示された条件の一つ。守るべきルールだ。部屋を見てくれ。エレン、お前はここをやれ。はい。 失望したって顔だね、エレン。はい。あ、エレンって呼ばせてもらうよ。それは構いませんが、俺今失望って顔してましたか。珍しい反応じゃないよ。世間の言うような完全無欠の英雄には見えないでしょ。現物のリヴァイ兵長は思いのほか小柄だし、神経質で粗暴で近寄りがたい。強力な実力者だから序列や型にははまらないような人だと思った。はい。 誰の指図も意に介さない人だと。私も詳しくは知らないけど、以前はそのイメージに近い人だったのかもね。この地下街で有名なゴロつきだったって。そんな人がなぜ？さあね。何があったのか知らないけど、エルヴィン団長のもとに下る形で調査兵団に連れてこられたって聞いたわ。全然なってない。すべてやります。 エレンの現在の処遇はあくまでも一時的なものだ。可及的速やかに彼が人類に利する存在だと中央に示す必要がある。でなければいつまた憲兵団あたりが横槍を入れて俺にも建前を使うのか、エルヴィン。相変わらず鼻が利くな、ミケ。お前ことには聞かない。時期が来れば話す。 hiding something. 未だに信じられないんだが、巨人になるってのはどういうことなんだ、エレン。でもきっかけになるのは自傷行為です。こうやって手を。あれ、そういえば俺はなんでこれだけは知ってるんだっけ。So whenever he's injured. 知ってるだろう。報告書以上のことは聞き出せねえ。まあ、あいつは黙ってないだろうが。Yeah, who's she? He meant her. 私は今
街で捉えた2体の巨人の生態調査を担当しているんだけど、明日の実験にはエレンにも協力してもらいたい。
俺が何を？
それはもう最高にたぎるやつだよ。
This is, as she really reminds me on Sasha, but just in other ways.
持っているのは自分ではないので。しかし巨人の実験とはどういうものですか？
聞きたそうな顔してると思った。
What? This is a bit confusing.
それじゃあ聞かせてあげないとね。今回捕まえたあの子たちについて。まずは過去5回の捕獲時に行った実験の反復から始めた。こんにちは。最初は意思の疎通の検証。
Interesting.
調子はどう？名前は？体は痛くない？
分隊長、近づきます。
いい天気だね。お腹すいた？しかし私にとって巨人との交流は日々の疲れを忘れるほど充実した時間だった。
Interesting.
昔々あるところに人間を食う一族がいた。街道を通りがかった旅人を襲っては金品を奪い殺し、その肉を食っていたんだ。
また始まったよ。分隊長の命名式。ああ、この前は何だったっけ？
She's going to name them.
また彼らはさまざまな食べ方を試みた。尻の肉はステーキに、もも肉は角切りにしてシチューに入れた。
Okay.
彼らには料理という概念があったんだ。そこがお前たちとの違い。
What?
しかしその人食い一族はたった一つのミスから捕らえられ死刑にされた。というわけでその一族を率いた男の
Yeah, she names them. Interesting.
お前がソニー、お前がビーンだ。次に日光の遮断を試してみた。夜が深まると巨人の活動が落ちることから日光により何かしらの活動力を得ていることを裏付ける実験だ。
Interesting, they're testing.
これは巨人によって個体差が大きく出た。ソニーは遮断後1時間で活動が鈍くなったのに対し、ビーンは3時間元気なままだった。彼らは水も食料も取らない。発生期間はあっても呼吸を必要としない。唯一活動に必要なのは日光なんだ。以前捕獲した子たちは誤って殺してしまったんだ。ガチローニとアルベルトって名前だったよ。笑顔が可愛い子たちでね。
Wow, this is extremely weird.
本当に悪いことをした。あんな思いは二度と。
What?
分隊長、あなたが叫ぶ必要は？
これが叫ばずにいられるか。いいよ、あんなに探してるんだぞ。巨人にうなじ以外の弱点がないか確認する必要があったからね。とても辛い作業だったよ。
ハンジさん。なんで
Yeah.
巨人を前にしてそんなに陽気でいられる？
She feels for the Titans. This is weird.
その巨人は俺ら人類を絶滅寸前まで追い込んだ天敵で。
調査兵団に入った当初は憎しみを頼りに巨人と戦ってた。でもそんなある日私は気づいた。巨人の体が。ではその質量にあるべき重量には到底達していなかった。私は思うんだ。私たちに見えているものと実在するものの本質は全然違うんじゃないかってね。私は既存の見方と違う視点から巨人を見てみたいんだ。空回りに終わるかもしれないけど、でも私はやる。
Interesting.
これじゃまるで。
Yes.
でも変革を求める人間の集団、それこそが調査兵団なんだ。ハンジさん、下の実験のためにも
So what did they try? She tried to communicate with Eren when he's a Titan.
今の話じゃ省略した部分も多かったし、もっと詳細に話すとしよう。ちょっと長くなるけど。はい。
She's still talking.
新たに得られた情報はないね。
半人分隊長はいますか？被験隊が巨人が2体とも殺されました。夜明け前に2体同時にやられたらしい。見張りが気づいた時には。
So it was a human, so some humans are against them.
君には何が見える？敵は何だと思う？
A human, yeah. That's what they're hinting, right?
変なことを聞いたな。
Oh, does Eren think that he is the one who did this? That would be interesting. So there are two main things going through my head, which is of course the ending and Zoe, her arc, like her personality, her empathy for Titans, basically. The one thing I have to point out is that she was talking about her story. I have to admit, there is a part inside me which like felt for her a bit, like I felt when she was trying to bond with them, and then when she had to torture them, I felt a bit bad, but at the end, no. At the end, like, it's not just the fact that the Titans do not possess a higher intellect. They're killing humans for fun. That's the most disturbing thing. It's not a food chain. Like, in our world, no one is angry at the lions for eating some gazelles because they have to survive. Whereas here, these Titans, they don't need to eat anything. It would be, of course, different if eating humans was a necessity for them to survive. That would be extremely different, and then I could see her having this kind of animal relationship towards Titans, like you can have with a, I guess, I don't know, lion, for example. But even that is extremely disturbing, because that they only must eat humans to survive would also be hard to accept and just see as nature. But the fact that they are not even eating them for their survival, but just for fun, that tells you that this is not acceptable. You can't see this as nature, and they're poor creatures. I'm not saying that she did that, but she felt empathy for them, and I'm just explaining why. Because I got that feeling from her. Like, she was acting towards them like having two caged lions, two caged bears, and trying to establish a relationship with them. And she was feeling sad for them when something was happening to them. And you can't do that because there's no reason to show any kind of mercy to those Titans. Yeah, she never said anything that she gives them mercy, but she said she acts like she said she tries to look from a different perspective, which differs from the perspective of her comrades. Maybe there's more to it and we'll learn it, but there's something wrong with her, or because this is not for me a good enough reason for feeling empathy towards Titan. As I said, it's so, you cannot see this as something, it's nature, you can't do anything about it. It's a super specific act, killing humans, or rather eating. It brings them like no benefits. They even throw them up after they eat them, and they didn't do anything else but just wait for a chance to eat humans. Like their whole existence is just to kill humans. That's the point of their existence, and that's why they're basically dragged the human nation to extinction, almost a point close to extinction. So you just can't sit and say, okay, this is normal, this is Mother Nature. No, there's a greater reason to it. Someone has to have some connection with this, with a horrible purpose of genocide, and there's no way that I could look at them and say they're just poor creatures. No way. But this thing got me like closest to it, to feel a bit of empathy, a bit. I will admit that, but I will stick with Eren. They have to kill all the Titans. I will now quickly just address the last thing. So it seems like they're hinting, at least Eren thinks, that Erwin could potentially be doing something wrong. And now if we look back, I think it was Mike or Mike. I think it's, in the subtitles it says Mike, but Erwin said Mike, the guy who sniffs. And they had their exchange and conversation. He did seem like he was hiding something, and now just grabbing Eren and saying to him something in the lines, just who could have done that? And then Eren looking at him. There are like two sides of me. Like at the one hand I'm thinking, isn't that a bit too obvious if now he is actually the main villain? And at the same time, as I said, I'm guessing the main villain is the Colossus Titan. That's what I'm guessing. I mean, if this show does have a main villain, like, you could say that all the Titans are the main villain, but probably the closest to a main villain is probably the one who is the Colossal Titan. And could he be it? It's quite possible. He was already in the first episode. Almost always the main antagonist was featured from the beginning, and Erwin was featured from the beginning. So, but Erwin is super suspicious to me considering his age. I don't know how old he is. I'm guessing 30s, his 30s. So he could have known Dr. Jäger maybe when he was a teenager or in his 20s. Maybe he's even older or younger, I don't know, but he's a commander, so he has to be somewhat, he has to be at least 30, I guess, to be a commander of the whole Sorry Corps. It could be possible because he really tried to keep Eren with them. Yeah, it's quite possible now that I think about it. He seems extremely nice. So he could be a typical manipulator and just pretend that he's nice. But at the same time, it could be that this is just a misunderstanding. Like, he still could be the one who killed those Titans, but maybe he has some different reasons. What could those reasons be? Who knows? But I surely can see that happening. For the episode breakdown, so we began. First they went to that castle, which was a Sorry Corps headquarters in the past. And we met the members of the Levi's squad, which were handpicked by him, as stated by Eren. I don't know any names except Petra, because I remember her name from one of the previous episodes, and especially because in my country this is a quite common name. So it stood out for me like immediately. But I can't remember the other ones. Also, like, I think there are 4, but like none of them were really featured, had any scenes, except for the guy who bit himself. He was trying to intimidate Eren. Like, he is negative. Like, he tried to copy Levi, as Peter said. He tries to act self-confident. Like, he seems a bit of a jerk. I don't know. I don't like him. But the other 2 guys, they weren't featured, like almost nothing. But the one interesting part was that Eren like knew their kills. So as I said, I think in the previous episode, it's so interesting some of the things they're recording, like they have so much detail that they actually are talking about, yeah, I killed so many, yeah, I assisted so many. Also curious, how do they count assists? Because they, like, if someone helped or how? I mean, have that one weak spot, so if you hit that one weak spot, it's over. It's not like they both can, I don't know. I suppose if you help, that means an assist. It's strange for them to record his stats. It's even stranger that he actually knows them. Like all of them, like this has to have to be like recent. You know, where does he get this information? So yeah, then they stayed at that castle. They cleaned it up. We got a bit of insight into Levi's backstory. He was a rogue, and because Eren was being surprised that Levi respects the rules so much, and Peter was explaining his reasoning somewhat. And she said that Eren brought him into this, so that's from where their relationship comes from, I guess. Then at the night, Zoe came. She has an experiment for Eren. He wanted to know exactly what is it, so they talked. Then she went into detailing every single thing they did with them. And she was so enthusiastic about everything. Just like Sasha is with food. So she really reminds me of Sasha. I was thinking could they be related, but it seems not, because they have, I think she's Sasha Blouse, and as I said, she's a Hanji. So they're not related, but they're similar, no, definitely not just by looks. So yeah, she names the Titans, which is also weird, and touches them, doesn't want to hurt them. She contradicts herself, she's enthusiastic about these experiments, so it's like she wants to do them, but she doesn't want to hurt the Titans, so it's strange. It's definitely strange. It's also strange to think of her reasoning, I'm suspecting there's a greater reason behind this, or it's just her trying to feel more positive and hide all the negativity in her imaginary world where she has these Titan friends. That could be a possibility. One of the funniest things was that Eren said that it seemed like the Sorby Corps are just a bunch of weird people, and that's exactly what it seems like. They always have these weird characteristic traits, and I guess those people are those who, I mean, at the end of the day, we all are weird in a way, because no one is similar. There's always someone who would see you as a weird person. There's always someone who would look at you and say, oh, you have some traits which are weird. And you can look at Eren and also say, well, that he has his weird moments when he talks about killing Titans, that he basically is a Titan shifter. So, I mean, yeah, they're not crazy. They're not mentally unstable. They just have these weird traits, and Zoe also has one of them, which is having empathy for Titans. I don't know, it's weird. It's definitely something I would never consider, or I mean, if this was the real world and if I were to be an Attack on Titan, I would argue with her. I suspect there's no way I would accept anything with Titans. So they never told what her experiment was, the idea what she wanted to do with Eren. Probably she will try to communicate with Eren while he's in his Titan form, or try to do other different things. It seems like the communication is the main thing that bothers her. And then of course the whole thing ended with those Titans being dead, so when someone saw something, so it's confirmed, it's a human, and it's probably one of our villains, or maybe the main villain, or he's just connected to the main villain, and there was a hint that this might be Eren. I mean, could it be? There could be some poetry in it, if you think, because they both he's Eren, so, and he's Erwin, similar names. He's Jäger, he's Smith, so they both have professions as surnames. I mean, I'm just looking to the symbols. I'm not saying that this has to mean something. I'm just thinking that because sometimes the creators like to do a lot of symbolic stuff to make the satisfaction of something greater. And you could say if Erwin is the main bad guy, it would be satisfied, because you would say, oh, he was already in the first episode. there's that similarity between his name and Eren's. There was a hint already, And then there's the fact that he is hunter and he's a smith, and he has a German surname, he has an English, because I don't think smith in German means smith. I forgot the actual name, but I'm definitely sure that it's not Smith. So I'm not saying that this has to mean, you can see everything, like you could say, oh, Levi and Eren have darker hair, so I know, but I'm looking always into some like little details, because you can see little hints, little foreshadowing from the creators, and with the help of that you can sometimes see some things which should not be an indicator, like a name should not indicate what someone will do, but it could, just to make it more poetic, just to make it more for, like, when you finish like a show, you can go back and still find these little things you can think about and say, oh, this was great, oh, they hinted that, and this kind of stuff. But because this exists, it can also help you to find some answers from the future. So I guess this could be. I didn't expect it, especially because he felt really warm, at least for me. I liked him. I'm not saying that I want to just hate on him, but he is definitely one of the biggest suspects now. So now to talk about those info cards. The first info card said that they worship the walls like God. So basically, I was wrong a bit in that regard. I thought they were saying that God built them, but maybe they still think that, but they just see walls as a similar, like a church, probably. They see it as holy, and you can do, and it confirmed they didn't want changes to the walls. But as I said, it's extremely funny because the walls have been there for like, what, 100 years? Unless they have been before there, but why would they be there? Because it said that the Titans appeared 107 years ago. There has been peace for 100 years, so I suspect in that 7 years range, they built the wall. So, the other info card said that since the Wall Maria fell, their numbers of worshippers or members of the religion increased. And it's interesting, it can always go either way. Like, you could say, yeah, it's because we don't have any hope, we'll now start to pray, go to the religion. At the same time, you could say that you have some people who will say, well, God allowed Titans to appear, why would I be religious, right? But I understand why it went like this. Like, imagine you being in a world like this. Like, imagine zombies existing, and then you run away, and then you find a working car which has enough gas inside to drive to a safe distance. You would think this as a miracle, You would see this as... It depends on what type of human you are, but some could see this as God's work, definitely. And it's the same here. These walls are saving them from being extinct. So that's why all of when they look at them, they see this, because they're big, they feel like they're probably seeing God's work, and that's probably why this religion is becoming more and more popular. My predictions for the upcoming episode. I suppose we will see now her experiment with Eren. That will be probably the main thing going on. We might see more hints about Eren. I'm expecting hints that because even if he's not evil, they will surely leave some hints just to mislead you, or just the other way, just to give you hints that, yeah, basically he is the main villain. So it could. In any case, I'm expecting some hints that he did this. So looking now again in this episode, now I'll grade it. It gets an 8.3. I guess, like, everything was interesting. the beginning was a bit confusing, like, whoa, 4 new characters, and it's funny that we are meeting so many new characters. Maybe they're not important, but they're just throwing them at us. They have these names, and I didn't remember anyone but Peter, and even her because of her special name, which is common in my country. So you need to invest some time at the beginning. You need to give more attention to characters at the beginning when you just meet them, and giving us 4 new characters is quite a lot, and so none of them had any screen time. Sometimes you get a bit confused, but I think they were still like if any of them are important, I guess we'll meet them more in the future. If they're not, if they're just like a Thomas character, then it's fine. But still, I think the most interesting part was towards the end, Zoe's story. So towards the end, this episode was at its best. As I said, it was great. I was invested. Yeah, that's the grade I'll give it. So if you have enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Hope you're enjoying this festive times. I'll see you soon, and have a nice day.